2021 Volkswagen ID4 AWD first drive, more capable, just as good. But before we start, please support us by pressing the like and subscribe buttons, so that we can continue to provide information about car and motorcycle news. Also turn on the bell button to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you. The 2021 Volkswagen ID4 is a solid little SUV that just happens to be an electric vehicle. Now, it's an even more capable and appealing SUV with the addition of an optional second motor that gives it all-wheel drive and better performance. Making the ID4 all-wheel drive was a painless affair, largely because it was designed to accommodate it. VW simply added a front motor to the existing rear-drive ID4 and updated the control software. Because the ID4 didn't have a frunk, front trunk under the hood, to begin with, no cargo space has been lost. Without the AWD badging, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the two models. The extra 0.6 inch of ground clearance is impossible to spot. A regular SUV with EV advantages. It is at least useful. At 6.7 inches, the flat bottom of the ID4 isn't particularly high off the ground, so if the snow is deep this year or the dirt road out to the cabin is storm damaged, every little bit helps. With nothing hanging down but the wheels and suspension, you can straddle obstacles you might want to avoid in gas-powered vehicles lest they catch on oil pans, frame components, or differentials. To be certain, you can even take an ID4 AWD off the pavement. We deviated off VW's suggested route and headed for some steep logging roads. The standard all-season tires don't look like much, but thanks to VW's excellent drivetrain programming, they were more than able to get the ID4 up the wet, rocky dirt paths with almost no wheel spin. We didn't even have to engage the special traction drive mode meant for bad weather and loose surfaces like these. With a longish front overhang and somewhat low ground clearance for an SUV, you need to pick your path carefully so as not to bang anything up, but when it comes to managing and maximizing traction, the ID4 has it down. Back on paved roads, the extra motor also makes itself known when you put your foot down. Volkswagen claims it makes the ID4 about 2 seconds quicker to 60 miles per hour, which, based on our testing, would put it in the mid 5-second range. It won't throw you back in your seat like a Tesla, but it's plenty quick for most SUV buyers and great for getting around slowpokes. FWD versus AWD. Of course, to maximize range, all four wheels are only driven when they need to be. Most of the time, the ID4 will be a two-wheel drive vehicle, and you'll never notice the difference. This is possible because the front motor is of the induction type, no magnets, and can freewheel. You will, however, appreciate that the all-wheel drive version only loses 10 to 11 miles of range compared to the standard rear drive model, so you can still go 240 to 249 miles on a full charge, depending on trim level, per the Environmental Protection Agency. Were you to drive both models back to back, you might notice the AWD model's steering is less lively and talkative than the rear drive models, a common side effect of powering the front wheels. The AWD model still goes around a corner nicely thanks to the low center of gravity afforded most EVs, but it's not a sporty and engaging driving experience, and that's okay. More important for a car like this, VW has mostly retained the excellent turning radius that makes the rear drive model so nice to drive in the city. It is, in fact, a fairly conventional driving experience aside from the perfectly smooth acceleration. The ID4 AWD will feel familiar to anyone coming out of another SUV. The regenerative braking feels like taking your foot off the gas in any other vehicle, and even the high reg and B mode doesn't provide a ton of regenerative braking like some EVs. You won't be doing any one-pedal driving in this electric SUV, which some experienced EV drivers may miss. Thankfully, the brake system tuning is excellent, and you don't feel any handoff from regenerative to mechanical braking. It can't tow enough to need a trailer brake, but it'll still pull 2,700 pounds when you want to take the boat to the lake or move the kid to college. Really, if the ID4 feels unfamiliar anywhere, it's in the interior controls. The twist knob shifter is a little unusual but easy to adapt to. The exclusive use of capacitive buttons for the controls is a controversial move, as they make it impossible to do anything without taking your eyes briefly off the road. We're happy to see VW went with large controls that are easy to find and programmed them to be nearly as responsive to your touch as a phone screen. Same deal for the infotainment display, whose graphics provide big digital buttons and a minimalist aesthetic that makes it easy to find and change settings quickly.
Thanks for watching. Drop a like. Leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.